Hello, Love Yourself to Wealth group. Happy May Day and happy month of May. This is going to be a fun and interesting month with lots and lots of information. And so I'm just going to give a minute or two for people to come in and join on the live and let me know that you're here and that you can hear me, and then we'll get started and dive right in because it is going to be a jam-packed month. I actually just spent hours this morning channeling information about May that I'm going to share some of with you right now, but more of it as the month goes on because there's just too much to cram into 1 hour. That's how much stuff is going on in this month. Again, last month was a very busy month as well, and this month will be too, with a slightly different flavor and also just expanding on and integrating in all of the things that happened last month. So welcome. If you're here on the live, please let me know in the comments where you're joining me from and that you can hear me okay. And we're going to start diving into this month of May. So there is so much to share. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. And, everything I did was channeled and it was coming in so fast. I didn't have time to type up any notes again. So I'm going to do my best to work with my notebook here and try and read all of my chicken scratch. So, because I was writing, it was coming in faster than I could write. So that's the exciting news because, really, there's, like I said, so much coming in, but also, this is kind of a general theme for the month of May, as it was for April, was to trust our intuition and trust those intuitive nudges. And yesterday I had planned to come live and give this forecast, and it just wasn't coming through. It was just like, there was something just keeping it, from flowing, and it would have taken a lot of efforting and pushing through to get this information. And the guidance I got yesterday was take the day off, do nothing. And hi, Lori, welcome. So take the day off, do nothing, and then everything, the communication with the ethereal realm will open up again, and I will, everything will just flow. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm so glad I did postpone from yesterday, and I think you guys will be glad too, because this is going to give you a much better view of the month than you would have gotten from me yesterday. Just being able to be more in the flow of receiving the information today than I was yesterday. And so I'm excited about that. So let's dive in. So our intuition and psychic abilities are again on super drive this month, even more so than last month. So noticing that, people know what you're thinking and you know what they're thinking. And so, being mindful of your thoughts and really, really trusting your intuition and your psychic visions that you're getting. You might be getting things through dreams or other ways. And so trusting that, because that third eye is opening more and more. And we're in this eclipse season, and the second eclipse of the season, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it is going to be bringing in a consciousness shift that's probably the biggest day of consciousness shift that we'll be experiencing this entire year. So it's a pretty big month just in that alone. And hold on a second, I just need to cool it down in here a little bit. So it's a huge event that's going to be happening, and we're in the midst of this eclipse season right now. We just had the first eclipse of the season yesterday. It's opening the doorway for a new way of living for us, which is exactly what this consciousness shift is all about, right? Is that we've been discovering that the way we've been living for centuries, for thousands of years, is not working, and what exactly is not working of it, like in the specifics. We're getting more specifics, and last month we got a lot of specifics about what wasn't working. And so we are going to be integrating some of that awareness now, and also there will be more information coming in, new information. We'll be looking for information, seeking it out even more than we did last month in some ways. But a lot of this month is going to be about, okay, we got all this information, we see all the things that are messed up, we can't deny them anymore, we're starting to integrate, okay, like into that acceptance of it, and then what are we going to do about it? Because we are in our collective Mars season, and so that is about taking personal responsibility for everything. So this is on a personal scale and on a worldwide scale. We're seeing this, you know, like I just got an email this morning from the state attorney general, and I don't usually follow the politics, and I don't even know how I ended up on the email list. Must have to do something with my voting registration or whatever. But I got this email, and I decided to open it, and it really gave me some insight into how things are shifting, because I don't pay attention to the news most of the time. And you know, he's suing big oil for all of the plastic environmental issues and stuff, because you know, only 8 or 9% of plastic is actually recycled, which I've been aware of for a long time now. But now there's this collective awareness that's growing around that, and then there was just list after list of things people he was suing, corporations he was suing, or industries, or you know, all of these things, the victims of crime, and you know, all of that. Like there's so many things that were in there. Lots of environmental stuff though, which I told you guys last month in the forecast that this eclipse that we just had yesterday was going to bring up a lot around environmental concerns and the greed around that, right? So, hello, Lucy. Okay, yeah, you're having connection issues. Let me know, Lori, if you're also having connection issues. It could be my connection, and I could check that and maybe restart if needed. So, yeah, let me know, Lori, if you're okay hearing me, if it's just Lucy's connection or if it might be mine. I'm not getting any error messages or warning messages on my end, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not me. So, so let me know. Yeah, you know, with all of the energy shifting, and especially with the energy today. Okay, so Lori, you're able to hear me just fine. No fading in and out like Lucy's been getting. Because the energy today, and this is going to be with us all month, is this is really intense energy, this shifting energy, this shifting in consciousness, and it can affect our electronics. So the internet will, you know, probably be a little sketchy, you know, again this month. And okay, good, thank you for confirming, Lori. So, you know, we can have issues with that, and you know, all of our electronics, all of our connections and everything. And speaking of connections, this month is all about connections. It is the 2 energy month. So it's about connections, and that also means connections electronically. We are in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, and we're in eclipse season. So we get like this massive energy whammy with disruptions to our connections and shifting around our connections and our communications. And so that's the energy is all about that this month. We've got some heavy 2 energy coming in because it's the 2 energy month, but it's also 2022. So we already had 3 2s. We're bringing in that 4th 2. And then we've got a lot of 5 energy influence this month. It's today we're starting the month on a 5 of spades day, but we've also got a 5 energy theme in that second eclipse, that full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio on the 15th. There's a lot of 5 energy surrounding that, and then at the new moon at the end of the month, also a 5 energy day with a 2 of clubs. So this 5 and 2 theme is really huge this month, and it is all about you know, change in our communications, change in our connections, and so that will affect the physical world, technology and things as well. So we will be seeing that come in, and so just, you know, kind of being aware of it, expecting it, try to just let it go, not get frustrated, go with the flow, work with things as best as you can, because it's just going to happen. There's just no way around it. So So other themes for this month. So the intuition, trusting your intuition again, your psychic ability is going to be skyrocketing. Telepathy, of course, is so on the rise now. And so really minding your thoughts and being aware of your thoughts and your emotions as well, because people can pick up on what you're feeling and what you're emoting out there, whether you express it to them or not. They're going to know, so they're going to feel it, and you're feeling it too. So you're feeling that from others and you're picking up from others. So being aware of that and getting curious always about what's mine and what's not mine can help you navigate through the month as well, because we're going to be experiencing a lot of mental and emotional challenges this month. It could be one of the most challenging months, if not of the year, for that stuff. And so if you've done the brain game, this is definitely the time to revisit your tools. If you haven't, this is definitely the time to consider taking it, because it's going to be critical to help you moving through this month, is to understanding yourself and how your brain works, how your emotional state works, how they work together, and how to master that so that you're not being run by it, by getting trapped in the cycles that have not been working for you. And I've been talking for weeks now about noticing the patterns, paying attention to the patterns, the repeating patterns that are coming up as we've been preparing for the eclipse season. And we're going to continue to watch for patterns and look for repeating patterns and themes as we approach this Mercury retrograde. We're getting the theme presented to us of what that is going to be about for us personally and also on a collective level. So watch for the themes, watch for the patterns, and be aware of them so that we know, specifically around our communications and the way we connect with other people. That is going to be the patterns you want to look for in those areas, right? And then, trusting, having faith in yourself and in your intuition and in source. So, this 5 of Spades opening up the month is asking us to go higher in our thinking, to expand our consciousness, to include source in everything that we do. And that too is also bringing that in as well. It's also a 3 energy day today. So everything this whole month is amplified. So, we have this ability to manifest super quickly, faster than maybe we have been in other times, and you're going to notice that. So being very conscious of what you're thinking and feeling is going to be super important, because you are going to manifest really quickly. So make sure that you're focusing as much as possible on what you want and what you want to experience versus what you don't, because it will make a difference for you. Oh, hello, Rosalie. Yes, happy eclipse time. I love that. Yes. And happy May Day. It's certainly a day where we could have fun and celebrate and dance around the maypole with the 3 energy and the 5 of Spades, and calling in that fun and that lightness to life and not letting life be so serious. That's also, everything I'm saying for today is also a theme for the month. So we're integrating a lot of those new ideas and awareness that came in last month, and we are coming into more integrity with the truth of who we are as we discover who that is. We're still in that process, and we're always in a process of discovering that. As we continue to expand our consciousness more and more, we get more clarity about who we are and what we want, and that changes over time as well. We are getting there's an emphasis this month on really learning to value yourself in a way that you have never done before. Self-worth, self-value, compassion for yourself, for others. Curiosity is going to be very high this month. There's going to be a desire to learn new things and to really, really get more information about the things that are important to you. It's about decisions and choices. both that you are going to be making in terms of what things you want to change, and about facing decisions that you made in the past, because we're looking at the, Mercury retrograde and also these eclipses. Remember, I told you guys the eclipses are bringing up things that happened, if you think back to April of 2004. Whatever your themes were going on then in your life, if you can remember. It took me a while. I had to dive into that. But then I did remember, and there were actually some big things. Of course, there would have been, because that was the last time we had this particular family of eclipses. So if you go back to that time in your mind, it's not necessarily that you're experiencing the same thing, but you're experiencing similar themes at a higher consciousness level, because your consciousness has been expanding since then. And so noticing that, and noticing that some of these decisions and choices that we're facing are also, there's a lot of karma to this month again, because we end on a 6 energy day and an Ace of Clubs, which there's a lot of karmic influence there. So, and a lot of karmic influence with that 5 of Spades contract. So there's a lot of karma in this month again, karma clearing, karma coming up to be cleared. So karmic choices, so choices you may have made in past lives, choices of that have been made for the collective in the past. All of this is coming up, and it's all around our relationships with each other and with Source, and with our families and the people closest to us. That's a lot of what's coming up. You may have people revisit you in your life right now, coming back in from the past to finalize and clear that karma, or to confirm that you've cleared that karma. And just, you'll see, like, if somebody comes up from your past and you already know it's done, like, you don't need to re-engage with them. They might just be coming up as a reminder that, yes, you've cleared this. This person does not belong in your life anymore. So remember that when people from your past do pop in, it's not necessarily because they're supposed to come back now. It could be because you're supposed to realize, oh yeah, this is done, and even maybe realizing a new layer of the doneness of it. So be true to yourself. Follow your intuition on that. Very important this month. We're going to be sharing a lot of ideas with each other, feeling our purpose more strongly, and stepping forward into the unknown. Those are all themes this month. I have so many notes. Like I was saying in the beginning, I channeled for hours this morning, just stuff pouring in. And so I'm going to try and find all of the stuff. I may jump around because it jumped around when I was channeling it in, so bear with me, but you will get a good overview of what this month is about. There's just, like I said, so much going on that I'm going to try and give you the highlights. It's going to be different than last month's forecast. I'm not going to go week by week this month because there's just too much going on. So, catch me during the week when I come in for the Magical Mondays, Thriving Thursdays, and Sage Saturdays. We'll be covering more of the weekly energies and what we need to be focusing on for that week during those sessions. So that will help you a lot, because if I tried to do it week by week now, you would just be totally overwhelmed by how much is going on. So I'll tell you some good news for this month is that the arrow of frustration is not with us the entire month. So, and also the arrow of procrastination. So this is really exciting because this does make it a little bit easier for us to get some things done, and we will be called to move forward. Not this week so much. This week is going to be more about gathering information, receiving information, receiving ideas, intuition, really connecting spiritually and allowing the information to come in. So this whole eclipse yesterday was really asking us to receive. And so this whole week, we're going to be focused on that. I'm glad you're excited. Oh, you're moving. So yes, moving is actually a theme for this month. So there may be people moving or traveling. Lots of things going on like that this month for sure. Lots of changes, right? Changes in health. changes in our physical world, in our spiritual world. It's really affecting how we live our lives completely. So moving is definitely, and just a lot of movement overall in this month. So I'm just looking at the comments here. Yeah. So lots of changes anchoring in, and yeah, about choosing and our decisions from the past. Okay, so let me see what else do I want to pull in here. Okay, so again, we are in this Mars period, so we are in this season of taking responsibility and taking action to be responsible for our own lives and our own selves. So how does that play into to the energy of May? Well, May is asking us to really look at our relationships and look at how we've been codependent. Again, we are getting hammered about codependence this entire year. So if you get tired of hearing me talk about it, I'm sorry, but that is the lesson for the year. I think if there was one big lesson, because really getting through to the heart of where we've been giving our power away to other people in our lives and other things and other entities like corporations and things like that, or even giving our power away to source completely, right? Because, you know, we do have a responsibility even in that relationship to decide what we want and ask for what we want and create what we want, and taking those intuitive actions toward what we want. We do want to engage with source and leave plenty of space for source to come in and work its magic. And we also have a responsibility in that relationship too. So, you know, really looking at our responsibility and our personal responsibility for being a conscious creator, for creating the life we want. And if we're giving our power away to other people, places, or things, then we are not in our power as conscious creators. So lots of romantic possibilities popping up for you. That does not surprise me at all, Rosalie. That is definitely one of the themes this month. There's a lot of Two of Hearts energy capping off beginning and end of this month, which is really important for looking at the overall energy of the month. And so that does not surprise me at all. There will be a lot of that coming in. And so, you know, really allowing yourself to be open to it. One of the notes I made was about that was that allowing yourself to be open to new romantic experiences, especially if you've been really hurt in the past. This is about opening your heart and knowing and trusting that this time it could be different, that this time you could have a different experience because your consciousness has shifted, and so have a lot of other people's consciousness shifted. And so, you know, what we're attracting to ourselves is going to be a direct reflection of our self-worth. So I told you self-worth was a theme again this month. So how much do you value yourself? And again, this ties into what I was just talking about right before this, of where do we give our power away? And so when we are presented with these new romantic possibilities, where are we, you know, are we in a pattern, noticing the patterns? Are we in a pattern when we receive that kind of attention from someone of suddenly just acquiescing to everything with them that they want or their desires in order to get love, right? Or are we in our power and we know our worth and we come to the table already loving ourselves fully, and so we can come together in partnership with another person and rise in love together and amplify love together instead of needing to get something from them. So there's a big difference there. And so, you know, noticing that kind of stuff as those partnership romantic or otherwise partnership opportunities arise this month, because there will be a big emphasis on that. And also, if you are already in a partnership of romantic or business or whatever nature, you know, you'll be evaluating that and really looking at whether or not that's in integrity with who you are and what you want. And you know, really, are you opening your mouth and really voicing what you want and what's important to you and staying true to that? staying true to yourself first and foremost, then others. And that's a big theme in everything, whether it's with family, friends, romantic partners, business partners, the community at large, whatever. Really making sure that you are staying true to yourself first. And in order to do that, you have to work on your relationship and your partnership with yourself. So there's another partnership layer there to this month, which is about really, how do you partner with yourself? How do you partner with the essence of you? How do you partner with your body, your physical body? Health is going to be a theme again this month, and some of those decisions people will be facing, the past decisions they've made in terms of their health, and really looking at the consequences of allowing themselves to give away their power with regard to their health, and what is the fallout of that now. And some of that is going to really become evident. I think we'll see more and more in the news that's coming out around the vaccines, and more truth about the vaccines and what effect they're having on people's physical bodies. And I expect there to be more and more of that revealed, and people having more and more realization that some of the symptoms and complications and even new diseases that may be cropping up in their body may be directly related to those vaccinations. So needed some water. Okay, so that can be coming up too, but also other choices, not just around that, but also around how you've been eating, what you've been putting in your body. There's a lot coming out right now about GMO foods, that people are becoming more aware of those things, the food additives and preservatives and all of the stuff that's been done to our food supply and our food chain. And so a lot coming up about that into the mainstream now, where some of us who've been more focused on that, like myself, for a long time, because I had to learn for my own personal healing from many chronic illnesses. But now it's becoming more mainstream, and more people are starting to learn about this information and learn that the food that we've been sold in the stores is not actually healthy for us. And so even things that have been promoted as health foods really are doing a lot of damage to our bodies. So there will be more and more coming out about that, and the need to eat organic, to have more organic food available, what all this GMO stuff is doing. There's also all the like genetically modified mosquitoes have now been tested in Florida, and they're talking about moving that test and expanding it into California. And this is really scary stuff. It's really messing with the natural world, and how much are we going to continue to mess with weather patterns and wildlife and bugs and everything, and with our food supply and all of this stuff, and what effect is that having on our environment and our personal health. And so, again, a lot of stuff being revealed. We had a lot of reveals last month. I think there's going to be, there's definitely going to be another big reveal this month. And I'm going to tell you, I think the day that that's really come to a head is on the 13th. So it's Friday the 13th. It's the only Friday the 13th of the entire year, which is really interesting. But it's also hugely karmic day. It's a 6 energy day with a 6 of diamonds contract. And then I told you there's so much karma surrounding this whole month. And so we're looking at that as, I see that as, we're looking at where are we controlling things, where are we trying to control things in our physical world, and what is the karmic repercussions of that. It's also a Saturn energy day, which is about karma. I mean, you could not, it's triple karma influence that day, like massive karma influence. So I feel like a lot will be coming out that day. That is probably when there's going to be some big reveal. Or if it doesn't come out that day, like there's going to be something that because that eclipse is a couple days later. So it's like tied in with that, but there is something big, and I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be. We're all going to be surprised by this, I think. But you know, I would definitely say it has to do with karma around our physical world. And because that first eclipse was very environmental and also about greed and money and all of that stuff and how that ties in together, I think there's going to be a lot about that coming out. But also about, again, the health stuff could be a big thing. It could be about the sex trafficking. It could, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities of big things it could be about. But, hold on, there's stuff clearing. Wow. Oh, that's your son's birthday. Well, then he's going to be on a very karmic journey for his annual year, clearing a lot of karma from his life. And he'll be in a 6 energy year personally with the annual 6 energy year. I have that too. I'm also feeling that, a lot of karma clearing. It's not easy, but it is necessary, and it will catapult him forward. So not to be feared by any means. It's just it's all good. It needs to happen. So anyway, all right, so we've got that coming on. I think that's going to be a really huge date, though. And it's also the day of the goddess. I love, Elizabeth Peru talks about it in that light. And, you know, there's this element with the 6 of, you know, really trying to over-control, hypercritical, you know, judgmental, even mentally, verbally abusive. So, you know, looking at where we are doing that to ourselves and to other people, and to shift that, to choose to shift that and go with the feminine flow, the love, the creativity, the higher side of the 6, which is, you know, love, creativity, peace, ease, harmony, balance, right? Bringing more balance to our thinking, to our physical world, more beauty in our thoughts and emotions, and in our physical environments. There's going to be an emphasis on love. And so, you know, again, with this karmic influence, where are we not doing that? Where are we not loving? Where are we not taking care of our physical environment? Where, you know, so this is what we're really going to be looking at. And what would a true goddess do? You know, how would a true goddess live? What would a true goddess choose? And really looking at making those shifts, right? Having those changes that are necessary being revealed to us, and allowing those to come in, and really taking responsibility and making the changes that we need to make. So so that's a really huge day, I think, for this month. Let's see, another day that's big is Thursday the 5th, which is this coming week. That's the 5-5 power day. So, you know, really about self-worth again, standing in our power and taking things higher, right? Where are we going to put the emphasis, on the physical world or on the spiritual world? And the call, obviously, is going to be to expand into that spiritual realm, to expand our consciousness. And as we do that, we gain the confidence and we gain the self-worth, and we come into alignment with ourself, with integrity, with our values, and the truth of who we are on that day, and really really helping to set the tone for our month in terms of how we're going to expand and move forward. So being really conscious on the 5th this week. You know, it's not about Cinco de Mayo anymore. If you're here in LA, you know that's a big holiday here. And you know, it's really shifting what this day is all about. And you know, this is a call to higher consciousness, to expanded consciousness, to learning more about what that would be, to teaching others what we know and sharing that with them. And on that note, there is going to be, because I said this is going to be a very challenging mentally and emotional month, if you are in a position where you've been on this consciousness journey a little bit longer than most, then, you know, aware of your journey and really focused on expanding your consciousness, this could be a month where you can show up to support others and to support them, because the anxiety could be off the charts this month. You know, there could be mental health issues are going to be a big theme. More and more and more this month and next month. Those are going to be big themes coming up, and a lot of people challenged in having experiences around that are that they need support. And if you find that you need support, get the support you need. This month, especially, the two energy is telling us we are not here to do this alone. We are here to do this through our connections, through our community, both ethereal community and our physical, earthly communities. So we're not, no man is an island is the theme for this month, right? We are definitely not here to go this alone. We're here to do this together and here to support one another. And, you know, in one area where you might be weaker, someone else might be stronger and they can support you. And then an area where you're stronger, you can support other people that aren't. And so you see how this works. We're not all, you know, going to be good at everything, and we're not all going to have it all together, because we're all going through this consciousness shift. So how do we support one another with the areas where we're strong, and accept and seek support where we need it? So, you know, being willing to do that and know that you are worth it, know that you belong. This sense of belonging is also going to be hugely important this month, again, with, you know, anchoring in that you belong in this world. You know, this sense that we might want to just, that we feel more comfortable in the ethereal realm versus this earthly realm. You know, feeling like, especially for those of us who are really far along on our consciousness shift journey or spiritual journeys, feeling like we don't fit in with the mainstream, and, you know, being okay with that, but also knowing that we do belong here, that we are supposed to be here, that we do have a right to be here, that we have a purpose to being here, that we are allowed to take up space and have a voice and speak our personal truth, and that it is of value. And so, you know, overall, that being a big theme in our own relationship with just being here on Earth during this time. So that also coming through, and that 5-5 day is really also about that. You know, is really just anchoring that in, right? That spiritual connection and that expanded consciousness and our self-worth and our self-values. Just looking at all my notes, there are so many. Okay, so let's talk about. Yeah, we're getting on in time here. Let's talk about the full moon and the new moon, and then I will wrap it up with any other themes, or if you guys have questions, you can pop those in the chat. Because we are, you know, I said earlier, this full moon is really important. This is going to be probably the most pivotal consciousness shifting month of the year. Because of this full moon lunar eclipse happening on the 15th, and there's so much around that 5 energy again. So, you know, even though this is the 2 energy month this year, it is the 5th year of the month. It's always the 5th year of the month, but this full moon lunar eclipse is happening on the 15th. There's a lot of 5 energy tapped around this whole month, and this eclipse. So this is, you know, about self-worth, raising your value of yourself, your opinion of yourself, your trust for yourself. It's about the spiritual quest, the quest for truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of what's been going on in the world, the truth of, you know, what we want, trusting yourself and your intuition. And, you know, if you don't have self-worth, you're not going to trust yourself. So this is really key. It's really key to everything. There's a lot of relationship karma tied up in all of this. It's about, you know, the freedom to do and be your best. And just hang on one second. Here we go. this is the right page. So the full moon itself is in Scorpio at 7 degrees. It's got all this 5 energy. It's got a lot of 2 energy in it. It's a time to shift out of fear into peace, to satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, to create magic. Take hold of your ability as a conscious creator, take responsibility for that, and create the magic that you want in your life. It's bringing endings, so bringing the endings of arguments, of letting go of grudges, of possibly relationship endings, with those relationships that may be more toxic in your lives. These could be your relationship with yourself first and foremost. What is toxic about the way that you've been thinking and treating yourself? Have you been abusive to yourself? Those kinds of endings. But also it could be with other people. It could be with how's your relationship with your money? Is your relationship with your money toxic? Is your relationship with your purpose and your job, what's going on with that? And transforming or shifting, I feel like shape-shifting is the right word here. Shape-shifting into something new, right? We're looking at the it's on a 4 of Diamonds day, which is all about high relationship ideals, right? Appearing stable on the outside, but really inwardly being very restless and dissatisfied. So really getting honest with yourself. Where am I not in integrity with what I really want? And am I going to trade the desire for third dimensional financial stability and safety, which is an illusion, for my personal integrity? What's more important to me? And this is really about putting your personal integrity first, your personal alignment first, and being self-responsible. And if you aren't, you're going to feel it really quickly. You're going to feel it really strongly. You're going to be shown, because of that Scorpio influence at 7 degrees, you are going to be shown. And we're really being pushed into taking responsibility, because 5s and 7s are Saturn numbers, which is about karma and responsibility. So this is where, it's time to choose to transform those old belief patterns that have been revealed to you, or are going to be revealed to you at that eclipse if they haven't already, or if you've been ignoring the signs and messages that have been coming up. It's a lot of internal intensity. It's going to be very emotional full moon, very, very much so amplified, because it's also on an 8 energy day again today, this time. And we had that at this last full moon in April. So if you remember how intense that was, and how much momentum it had, how long the effects of that full moon lasted, then that will give you some indication of what you can expect this time. And even more so, because this is a full total eclipse of the full moon. So last month the full moon was not an eclipse. So I stress to you, the intensity of this full moon is going to be off the freaking charts, and it is going to have a legacy to it that is very long lasting. And that's why I say this is a pivotal moment in our consciousness shift. And so really, really key date and key month for our shift in consciousness as a collective, and and on a personal level. We're going to be looking at our insecurities, and really getting real about what we've been insecure about, and pretending that we're not, right? That all those 5s, and then the 4 of Diamonds, pretending to be something you're not, pretending to be more stable than you are. And so this is really about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, and get some help if you need some help with certain things that have kept you stuck. Desiring to feeling peace at any cost. So, where have you been giving up yourself and what you want and your desires in order to keep the peace? And is that really serving the greater good anyway? which I'll tell you right now, secret, it's not. So the greater good is served by us all being in integrity with our truth and who we truly are, and showing up authentically on purpose in the world. And so where you are out of integrity with that is going to be shown to you. It is going to be a karmic full moon. And of course, if you expand this to a collective level, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up around this eclipse. So also looking at, do you believe everything in life has to be hard, or that you have to work hard in order to be worthy of receiving? Do you believe that? Or are you willing to commit to a life of satisfaction, ease, and fulfillment, and your role as a conscious creator, and that you can just think it, feel it, and take intuitive actions, and you can have it? That it could be easy, that it could be flowing, that you could move with the universal laws and the energy in order to create the life that you want. So this is going to be a pivotal moment for us. And then looking at that new moon at the end of the month, it's not an eclipse. It's right before eclipse season completes, right after the new moon. So it will kind of be related to eclipse season in that respect, but it's not as big an event by any stretch as the full moon eclipse is this month. But it is going to be pivotal in terms of the theme of the month, since it comes on the 30th, and it is a new moon in Gemini, but it's at 9 degrees, and so that is again endings, but also new beginnings. So heralding graduation and new beginning and initiation with our communication. It's a 5 energy day and a 2 of clubs contract, so really inviting in those shifts into newness in the way we communicate with others, in the way that we think, and the way that we express, because it's Gemini's ruled by communication, it's ruled by Mercury, but also with that 2 of clubs, it's the same thing there, and the 5 being very social. So really this is going to be a time of really overhauling the way we communicate, the way we socialize. We're going to be pulled to socialize. The pull to travel all month and socialize is going to be big all month. Having conversations, sharing information, like I said, is going to be a big thing. Feeling mentally scattered could be an issue, and that can create some of that anxiety that I was talking about that could rise up this month. And this particular day too could bring an amplification or exacerbation of that anxiety if you have been struggling with that, or if you're prone to that. The high side of that is, again, are you willing to choose, to decide, to make a decision, to make the changes, so that the more you've been doing your work and coming into alignment more and more with your true self, the less anxiety you feel. So if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety, or if you know someone is, that's the key to relieving it, is really about anchoring in what we've learned this month, and committing to make the changes and taking those steps to make those changes. Action is the antidote to anxiety, really. The anxiety comes when we're feeling stuck and we don't take any action, or we're afraid to make a decision, or afraid to make the wrong choice. So really trusting, like, there is no wrong decision, there is no wrong choice ever. There's only choices and different paths, but you'll still stay on path no matter what you choose. If you go back to the meditation, the guided meditation I did on Thursday, on Thriving Thursday, if you didn't listen to that, that's a great example of that. There was no wrong path in that meditation. You still got the information you needed and the experiences you needed for you. And so it's kind of like that. It's exactly like that, really. And so, that's a big thing. So let me know, we have 10 minutes left. Let me know if there's any questions about this month, or comments, or anything like that. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep pulling from some of the information I channeled and sharing that with you. because there's, like I said, so much going on here. This first week is going to be more about receiving information, gathering information, and allowing more insights and integration to happen with all of the reveal that happened with this eclipse yesterday, and all the information that came to the surface in the month of April. So allowing that to come in, because that is going to guide you as to what's next. By Mother's Day, that's going to be a day to kind of do a self check-in. So, oh, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed that meditation. Yeah, it was really interesting to just channel through. So Mother's Day. So that is the day to do a self check-in, to really look at where you are in your process. It's the halfway point between eclipses. And so that's going to be when you want to start really taking those intuitive actions. Right now you're doing more of like, allowing the information to come in and gathering the information that you need to make the changes that you're being presented with, or become aware of, that you want to make to really experience more fulfillment in your life and be of greater service to the world, right? And so so this is where you're going to check in with yourself and go, okay, what changes have come to light for me, and what am I going to do this week? So that'd be the second week of May. What am I going to do this week to start taking intuitive actions towards it? So not forcing things, but to be in the flow and trusting your intuition, trusting those intuitive nudges, and making love your guiding force. That's really, really key. Love is a big key to everything, and you'll be learning that more and more this month. So that's another key date that I could say. And then on the 10th, May 10th, Mercury Retrograde begins. That is a 3 energy day and a 9 of diamonds contract. So that is going to be really amplified. There's going to be endings in the physical world that come as a result of this Mercury retrograde, and endings in the way that we communicate with one another, that we think, that we share information in the physical world. We're going to be seeing some endings happening, or some realization of endings needing to happen, and this will be key for this Mercury retrograde. And really, once that eclipse happens, the day after the eclipse, we have the reverse energy there. And so I really see that as a strong manifestation cycle of clearing things that need to end with our mental thinking, and how we think about the physical world, and how we communicate in the physical world. So there will be a lot of shifts and changes during this Mercury retrograde that around our communication. And if you got your lessons from the first Mercury retrograde of the year, that was back in January, January, yeah, it was in January, and early February. So if you got those lessons, this Mercury retrograde will be a little bit softer for you. It'll be more about fine-tuning. If you didn't get those lessons, between the Mercury retrograde coupled with the eclipses, it is going to be hammered into you now. So you will not be able to escape the lesson this time if you did in January. So whatever it is around your personal communication style, and also looking at that from a collective level, whatever we didn't get in January, it's coming now, because especially with this big shift in consciousness coming with this full moon eclipse, there's just no way you're going to avoid it this time. So that's definitely a theme. And then Mercury retrograde continues to run through the rest of May into June, into early June. So we'll be feeling that, but the first half of Mercury retrograde is really about the awareness and the information coming in, the information gathering, and the second half, which starts on the 21st of May, is really about taking some action on that information and making those changes. So, and that's timed really well with, you can't make this stuff up. We are so supported by the universe, and this is another knowing and, embracing of that knowing that we are being asked to do this month with that 2 energy, is that we are so supported. You can't make this up. The way this month lays out, the halfway point of that Mercury retrograde is exactly 1 week after the full moon eclipse. So it's when you would want to take action on the changes. So it's timed perfectly together. And then that following week, an Aries stellium comes in on the 25th, which is also about action, moving forward, all of that. It's going to be a big focus on moving and thinking higher, elevating our thinking states. Again, remember, everyone knows what you're thinking, whether you say it or not. So you might as well clean up your mind and be willing to focus your thoughts on as much positivity and what you want to create as possible. This has really got to become a daily and hourly practice with us, right? Is this what we're being asked to do? And then we'll move into the Taurian stellium at the end of the month, and that will really help us ground in and stabilize in, integrate in these changes, and really bring them into our physical world, because Taurus is all about the physical. So also I mentioned that health is going to be an issue, so that's also grounding in those changes physically that are happening in our bodies. So really focused on bringing in more health and all of that. And one thing that came to me that isn't really that big a deal, it's more like a fun fact, so why not end on a fun fact here, is one of the things you can do to bring more sense of community and belonging in with your food is to bring in more fruits and vegetables that grow in bunches, that gather, right, that are in groups. So things like bananas and grapes and cherries and radishes, and I don't know, you can throw in other foods in the comments that grow in bunches. But eating more of those foods, bringing more of those foods into your diet can really help you just from a fun perspective and from a health perspective, be more healthy, and also bring in more sense of belonging and community and everything into your body, and really encompassing that energetically. So lots of fun with that. And oh yeah, so going back to the gym again, or to something that will allow you to exercise in community with other people, right? I love that. Taking a dance class, or a yoga class, or something that will bring you in community in terms of that exercise. Yeah, just looking at stuff like that and looking at the themes of the month and how do these themes apply to every area of my life. So on the physical plane, with the physical body, with your money, with all of that, right? Your resources, people, your relationships, the emotional plane, and then the mental plane, your thinking, and then the spiritual plane, which is about your connection in the ethereal realm. So looking at that theme of connection and community and collaboration and support, and learning to communicate in a different way and to connect in a different way, and prioritizing your connections more than your resources, trusting that those resources will show up when you prioritize love and you prioritize connection and prioritize community and collaboration and unity and oneness, right? Being one with source, prioritizing those connections. So I think that, that's a good place to end, unless you guys have some questions that you want to pop in the chat. I don't see any. I see a lot of comments, which are awesome. I love comments too. And just knowing that you're having these ahas and things landing as I'm sharing this information. So I do love that. And, again, the invitation for the emotional mastery, learning emotional mastery this month, learning about yourself and who you are. So, I offer all kinds of numerology readings, including contract readings, your sacred contracts with other people, your divine purpose, your life, your life reading. What did you come here to do? What are the lessons? What's your karma? Looking at all of that. We can look at so many different layers, and I can customize readings for you. We can do lots of different things with the numerology, and it's so much fun, but it's also incredibly healing and supportive. And then for the brain game, I'll be teaching the brain game all month, one-on-one, as I always do. And then I'm looking at if there's interest, I will put a group together so that we could offer a group class with the brain game if you prefer to take it that way. I think it would be really fun to do it, especially this month in community and collaboration. So I'll probably be announcing a start date for that pretty soon as well. So if that's something that interests you, or if you feel like you need that support, which if you haven't done it, I can tell you that it would be of massive support this month and next month to have done the brain game or be in the brain game while you're navigating all of these mental and emotional energies, which will be really intense this month. So reach out to me or make a comment in the comments. You can send me a private message, however you feel comfortable. Let me know if you're interested in some extra support that way as well. I'll be doing what I can in the Love Yourself to Wealth group and on YouTube to support in addition to that. But if there's nothing like actually deep diving into how your brain works, how it interacts with your emotional states, and learning how to master your emotions and consciously create from that space of true love and integrity with yourself and your values, which is what the brain game teaches you. It's going to teach you how to master your relationships. It's going to teach you how to master your connections with yourself, with source, with others, and to really create a life that you love. So, you know, whether you want to go a numerology route, a brain game route, personal coaching route, whatever is calling to you, I'm here to support you this month and going forward in the rest of 2022. There's just so much that wants to be navigated and cleared and being done while you're moving forward, to not get stuck in the healing either, and to not hold off on moving forward before you feel like you've healed everything, because that's just not ever going to be the case. So anyway, let me know if I can support you in that way. And I hope you guys have a wonderful month, a wonderful May Day. Go out and celebrate, dance around the maypole, get out, do an adventure. It's a great day for that, for connecting, for socializing. Thank you for being here with me on the live and or on the replay. If you are here on the replay, let me know that you're here, and let me know how this landed for you, and come back to it throughout the month to refer to some of these themes and things that are going on, and catch me in the Love Yourself to Wealth group and on YouTube for more information as we go through the month, and helpful tools and tips. So love you guys so much, and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.